Good morning. Welcome to Gimpy's History Corner. I'm called Gimpy by my two grandsons, Ellis and Archie. Here we are at breakfast one day. Oh, more like a brunch or a lunch at Rosie's. Ellis has no hat that day, but Archie's got his 6'7" hat on and his pretend handcuffs. Not sure why he had handcuffs. It's one of those things he carried around for a while. Okay, Ellis and Archie, good boys. Okay, we've made it up to video number 154, and the question is, why do we need enemies or rivals? This is based on my rivalry, my Ohio State versus Michigan rivalry. Why do I care about that so much, and why do politicians need enemy to get votes? Experts argue that enemies and rivals serve psychological and social functions. They simplify complex problems, motivate performance, strengthen group identity, and even provide comfort in uncertainty. Scapegoats and clarity. Scapegoats, there you go. Having enemies gives people a simplified cause behind complex problems. Complex problems need a simplified cause, offering a target for frustration to blame. This can reduce feelings of uncertainty amid chaos. Predictability and trust. Some experts suggest that enemies can be more reliable than friends. What? Because their motives are clear and consistent, rivals may be easier to anticipate. We know Michigan's going to cheat. That's just, they always cheat. So, don't be surprised when it happens. All right, motivation and performance. Heightened drive. Intensify competition beyond ordinary contests. Studies show that when competitions share a history of clashes, the rivalry itself boosts motivation and effort. Well, some years Ohio State does boost their effort, like this past year, but in other years, it seems like they just lay an egg. Don't understand it. Sports and identity. Rivalries energize fans and athletes alike. The us versus them dynamic strengthens loyalty and emotional highs. Okay, now we're talking about politicians. Us versus them, right? Democrats versus Republicans. Enemies. They have to be enemies. Social cohesion, group identity. A common enemy can common enemy can unite otherwise divided groups. I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing sometimes. Psychologists note that polarization often thrives because opponents serve as rallying points for solidarity. So in politics, that would be the Trumpites versus abortion believers against gay rights believers, against illegal immigrants, things like that. You know your enemy. You rally against them. That's why I think the Trump rallies were so effective. He actually went out to these people and stirred them up with these terrible stories about these horrible people. He alone could dominate, and he has. Relational dynamics, proximity, similarity, and repeated encounters deepen the sense of rivalry, which in turn shapes behavior and identity. That's the Trump rallies right there. Proximity, similarity, and repeated encounters. Repeated over and over again. You are right, they are wrong. Follow me. So he played it perfectly. Key periods in U.S. history where we had rivalries or enemies. The colonial era were witches. I just did a video on Salem witch trials. Civil War and Reconstruction, North versus South. The KKK with their white hoods. World War I, German immigrants and the Espionage Act. The Red Scare and McCarthyism, the 1950s. And the enemy then was communists, labor unions, immigrants, and intellectuals. You couldn't be an intellectual in the McCarthy era. You were automatically a communist. The Civil Rights era, the FBI targeted agitators and subversive as enemies. So if you were protesting for civil rights, the FBI in their COINTELPRO program spied on you and did everything they could to defeat you. You were the enemy. The post 9/11 era, Muslim Americans, of course, were the enemy. They were the ones that tore down the two structures. And the result of that was the Patriot Act, where we violated a lot of people's basic rights because the enemy had done this terrible thing. And Trump has lots of enemies. Holy mackerel, he's got illegal aliens, political rivals, Department of Justice, the FBI, certain media outlets, universities. He doesn't like intellectuals either. Have you seen a pattern here? And his whole administration's about retribution, about payback on all his political enemies. Okay, so psychologists say sometimes we need rivals, like Michigan, in Ohio State. And politicians definitely need rivals. Democrats need their enemies, which is Trump. And conservatives. And conservatives need their enemies, like gay rights people and illegal aliens and other liberal causes. Liberals are enemies in their mind. That's the difference of today's politics, is that you're either voting this way or that way. Like it used to be, okay, you vote one way or the other, that's all right, we can still be friends, but not anymore. If you vote that way, you are an enemy. You are the bad guy, one way or the other, Democrats, Republicans. That'd be like me voting for somebody from the University of Michigan. No way, never happened. Okay, so apparently we need enemies. And the elections go by how many enemies vote. Democrats don't tend to vote as religiously as the Republicans. So Republicans are all in charge now. It's a one-party government, but they still hate their enemies. Some reason he hates, is it Venezuela? He keeps bombing their boats. I'm not sure where that came from. You just, your military needs to be bombing somebody, apparently. So they've picked Venezuela. Okay, that's video number 154. This is Wednesday. No snow last night, so I don't have to shovel snow. I'll be off to breakfast. I have no babysitting duties that I know of, but I do this weekend. So Ellis and Archie, here I come. Have a great day.